I asked a girl out on a date and she said she'd take a pepper spray. Not sure if this has already been asked, but are you 100% sure the comment was about you and not the location? Is she traveling alone to meet you? Does your city center have dodgy areas or a bad reputation, or even somewhere that is unfamiliar to her? Might be worth a conversation instead of an Insta ghost text. Can lose a lot of language nuance. This comment could maybe have even been a, "I'm scared to go there, but for you I'll risk it. And I will bring my salt shaker." As a woman, I think it's perfectly reasonable for her to bring pepper spray. But it's weird that she randomly told you she was bringing pepper spray. I wouldn't call it very offensive, but it's definitely a weird thing to say. No way to give her this advice without seeming super creepy. But to anyone reading this, that it might help. Never tell a guy how you plan to defend yourself. If you warn him that it's pepper spray you plan to use, he can be ready for that and make sure you can't get to it. Keep yourselves safe. Also, a kabutin is a pretty good weapon. I personally just have a sturdy pen with a glass breaker on one end. Always have a plan B. Edit. Oh, and I'm a dude, by the way. I just like to be ready because I have some anxiety stuff. I'm a guy, but personally my take is, if she wants to bring it and it makes her feel safer, great. But going out of her way to tell you about it is weird AF and accomplishes nothing but making you feel like she views you as a threat, and sets an uncomfortable tone for the date. I'd probably call the whole thing off too if I were in your shoes. Men, I hope she looks like her profile picture. Women, I hope he doesn't murder me. Can you imagine being her right now? A guy asked me to the cinema. I told him I would bring my pepper spray and then he ghosted me. Do you think he planned to attack me and that's why he canceled? Quote, I'm not siding with her. I just thought it was kind of funny how perspectives could be so different in a situation. On a more serious note, the obvious answer to these types of questions is always, men have no idea what it's like to be a woman and have to fear for their safety. I completely understand this idea and agree this is likely true. I haven't gone to many guys' houses in general, but I can immediately think of two that had handguns on the kitchen counter when I walked inside. Now maybe he always takes it off when he comes inside, or maybe I'm in danger. Regardless, it's an uncomfortable situation. I think what is often missing from this conversation is that women don't know what it's like to be a man. Yeah, we get that you don't think we should think you are dangerous. But we don't know you. Usually, OP's situation is a little odd. What we don't recognize is that we do not know what it's like to be a man and assume to be a threat day in and day out for decades. I imagine that it can weigh on someone over time. Consider this situation. I'm walking to my car at night and a man is following behind me closely. I might look tense or do any of the tips that women have been taught for these types of situations. Now consider being the guy. You're walking to your car. There's a lady just ahead of you. She looks back towards you and you smile. She quickly turns back. You hear her fumbling with keys and it looks like she's now holding on to something. You realize it's probably pepper spray. You start walking slower so that she doesn't have to be scared. But it doesn't stop the negative thoughts from coming. That because you're a man you'll always be assumed to be a threat. I'm still going to say that women have to make sure they are safe. But to the men that may be reading this, if society has made you feel like you're dangerous and it's affected you mentally, I see you and I'm sorry. I don't know a way for it to end. There will always be some men who are dangerous, and that's enough for women to be afraid. Nah, it's one thing to have it on hand in case. That's smart. But saying it out loud in response to you asking about the possibility of a date is just an overt statement of distrust, borderline implied threat. That isn't just something you say without implying something else. It's like being invited to someone's house. And the moment you enter, they say, "And this is the shotgun I'd shoot you with if you tried to kill me." The subtext behind why it would be said is the concerning part, even if the statement is completely factual and justified in that hypothetical. Instead of asking another human being what they meant, I ghosted them and asked a bunch of strangers instead. WTF? Why do people ghost like this? Just communicate. I'm a woman and I don't think it's weird for women to carry pepper spray or even mention it. However, you inviting her to the cinema and then her responding that she will come but bring pepper spray is a bizarre conversation that makes her seem really weird, and I would be offended in your shoes. I've known women who were excessively obsessed with the idea of being sexually assaulted, and it got exhausting even for me to be around after a while. You can't really have a functional life if you can't even have a plumber or delivery man come by, because you're paranoid they're going to assault you. Taking it with her is a precaution. Telling you she's taking it is a red flag. The worst she can say is no. Hanging out for quite a long time. What does that mean? Have you actually been dating? Or communicating online? 3 months isn't a long time. Really. I think ghosting someone over this interaction is the easy way out for you instead of communicating with her honestly. You know she has concerns about her safety. If that's a red flag that she's neurotic about it, then tell her that you don't think it's going to work out. I don't know what other flags, red, green or otherwise, you've been presented in this long time hanging out thing with her. Maybe this is the one that just broke everything. My first thought when you wrote that she said she would take her pepper spray was that she was being careful going into the city center. IDK, what city you're going to? City center around me is laid back. Perhaps I'd have responded, great. You can use it if someone tries to mug us. Whatever. If I was going to meet someone I'd only known online, on my own in a public place, I might be wary. I might bring my pistol. I might bring pepper spray. I wouldn't announce it because the element of surprise is always a bonus. At least she gave you a heads up. Why invent what was going through her mind? Why not ask her, "Whoa, are you bringing pepper spray because you're afraid of me?" Let her answer. Repeat back parts of her answer to her for clarification, and to show you're paying attention. You don't know what has happened in her past that makes her feel like this is necessary. I'd be taken aback, but would have ultimately responded with, "Cool. So I'll pick you up at 7:30. Then, quote, she clearly has trust issues, but was still willing to be alone with you. Normal to bring it. Weird to tell you that. I'd think it shows she's already on edge and has zero trust in you. You should have told her, you bring the pepper spray, I'll bring the nachos." Quote. Nothing wrong with ghosting her if she's made it clear she wouldn't feel safe around you and deems you as a threat. If she considers you a danger after 3 months, I would break it off completely. Not sure how you've remained attracted to her considering she thinks you a threat. Who cares what her issues are? They are too deep for you to overcome. I'm a woman and I don't think you overreacted. I wouldn't tell a man I'm going on a date with that I'm armed or have a weapon in any way. That's a no-no. Especially telling him the kind of weapon you're carrying. Lol, it only gives him a chance to be prepared with a stronger weapon. What is pepper spray supposed to do besides piss someone off? She makes it sound like it's the equivalent to carrying an actual gun. SMH. 1. If I'm afraid of a guy, I simply would just not go out with him. 2. I have emotional intelligence. Indirectly telling a man that you don't feel safe enough in public for him to protect you is subconsciously creating tension with his manhood, and he'll probably move on to a newer woman that doesn't constantly make him feel like a predator. Some things you just keep to yourself until you see if they get better or not. Her voicing this out loud sounds like she has some immaturity. That's like a man automatically assuming that my cooking will never be as good as the females in his household. It's like, give me a fair chance. Then make your decisions based on my character, not based on what you've experienced in your past. Ghosting is stupid for anyone to do. I think you should ask her why she feels the need to bring pepper spray with her, and specifically mention to you that she's doing it. If you've been seeing her for 3 months now and she still feels unsafe with you, then maybe you're not the problem. It's likely you're not. She needs to fix her own emotional traumas before deciding to date people. This is obviously bringing in unnecessary tension between the two of you so early on.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Ericast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.